STU Journalism and the New Brunswick Beacon present The Basement Files.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Duero.
And I'm Anika Divenborden. Welcome to this week's edition of The Basement Files.
Our top stories are job connections in Fredericton. Are they vital for students in today's workforce?
The story of a student mom and her struggles to balance schoolwork with motherhood.
And a pirate-themed festival that brought together thousands of pirate fans and Jack Sparrow's boat.
The job search for students seems to be getting more difficult every year and has forced many young students to leave their hometowns for summer work. For Amanda Bird, a summer around the world has shown her how important it is to make the right connections. Nicole Vare has more.
Amanda Bird prepares a dish she has become quite familiar with over the past 4 months. She wasn't a chef at a local restaurant, however. Amanda spent her summer nannying for a family in New York and Australia. The job opportunity arose when a family member knew Amanda was looking for work.
I don't know how I would get the job that I did as a nanny in New York if I didn't know someone. I mean, I'm sure there's websites and stuff, but knowing someone that also knows the family makes it more comfortable as well.
Traveling to Australia is something Amanda has always dreamed about, but had no idea it would be a part of her summer plan.
I went to New York planning to be there for all 4 months up until school started back in September. But the family that I live with is actually Australian. Both the parents are from Sydney, Australia. So they decided that for the kids' summer vacation for July and August that they were going to go back to Sydney to spend some time with their family. So they offered to take me as well, all expense paid, which was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so I couldn't say no to that.
Memories of her travels and time spent with the family she nannied are now displayed throughout her home. As Amanda was traveling the world, Brett Lockery was handing out resumes. Brett says not having the proper connections this summer made his full-time job a constant hunt for work.
Most people found work by the end of summer, but it took several months. Like, a lot of the jobs didn't come up as soon as they should have or had in past summers. And it was definitely more of a struggle. A lot of my friends who had found jobs, it was sort of like their parents knew someone to set them up for an interview. So they kind of got lucky that way.
After spending the summer unemployed, Brett was unable to continue his undergraduate degree at St. Thomas University.
Although Brett didn't make enough money this summer, even for bus fare, and Amanda was able to save enough to pay for her year of school, they both agreed that this summer was full of challenges and learning experiences, and that connections are needed in today's workforce. For STU Journalism, I'm Nicole Vare.
A fourth-year journalism student at St. Thomas University is doing everything he can to ensure he's able to land a job in his field next year. Justin Marshall is working up to 7 different extracurricular jobs, which raises the question, why isn't everyone doing this? And how important is field experience in university? Nick Murray has more on the story.
Mainly sunny for today. Right now it's 17 degrees. Good morning. I'm Justin Marshall with...
He's now a household name around Fredericton, but Justin Marshall isn't slowing down. Now the poster boy for job-seeking journalism graduates, his ethic isn't something he acquired recently.
You name it, I did it. I mean, with doing like basketball stats and just everything. So I was a bit of a legend in high school, and I guess you could say now I'm a little bit of a legend, but... it was a lot of fun.
However, many other journalism students are not in the same boat. Whether due to school, other jobs, or financial restraints, there's lots of unoccupied freelance work throughout Fredericton. Though academics still come first for the 22-year-old, his resume is almost endless. This past summer, he began freelancing for Fredericton's Daily Gleaner and was a reporter and newsreader for Astral Media, home of KHJ and Capital FM. One of the best ways for students to gain field experience is at St. Thomas's Aquinnah or UNB's Brunswickian newspapers. From there, Marshall was hired as multimedia editor for Canadian University Press.
We got a hot egg export. Good morning, San Diego.
Good.
BAM!
What are you doing?
I don't know.
A recent study by Georgetown University shows the unemployment rate of journalism undergraduates is 8%, while only 6% for those with experience. While still above the national unemployment rate, Marshall says the key to experience is taking any story that comes his way.
Never say no to an assignment. I mean, I've stayed in at night, and I've gone to work sick because I believe in my job and I never say no to an assignment, and that gets your employer saying, well, Justin never says no, so we're going to give him that assignment.
CBC's Jacques Poitras, also a St. Thomas journalism professor, says it's important for students to get field experience prior to entering the job market.
Well, it's great, and not only is it experience, but it also raises his profile, because there's all kinds of careers where you can have a lot of experience coming out of school if you're keen and you go and do all these kinds of jobs. But there aren't that many careers where you're seen doing them in a public way.
CBC have a partnership with St. Thomas University's journalism program and give students the opportunity to get field experience through internship programs. However, Poitras says that it's not always the quantity of work that a student undertakes, but rather the quality of work which will lead them to a job after graduation. For STU Journalism, I'm Nick Murray.
University students are back in the city and local businesses are booming. Julie Tracy is the manager of Snooty Fox, a local pub in downtown Fredericton. I recently had the chance to sit down with her and talk to her about how the student population impacts her business. Julie, the university just kicked off another year, which means the students are back in the city. How does this affect your business?
Well, you can come in here any night and look around, and the student presence is strong here. We're definitely busier, much busier. Come September, we prepare for the students coming back. It's a great time of the year for us, and we look forward to it every year, and it's a very busy time for us.
Do you aim at promoting your business to the student population?
I was thinking about this in sort of our relationship with students, and I was thinking it was like a partnering, but it's more of a symbiotic relationship because we benefit from you and you benefit from us. We do have a lot of specials. You've probably been Wednesday nights. We have half-price apps. We have drink specials throughout the week. We have wing night. So anything that we can to get you to come down here because you're here for 4 years. We'd like you to come for 4 years. So.
How would your business survive if St. Thomas or UNB were not located here in Fredericton?
We would definitely see a difference in our business for sure. You're definitely a big part of our business, and sales are up. And like I said, you're here for 4 years, so we try to get you to come in September and keep you coming for 4 years. And there would be significant difference if the student population wasn't here. And so honestly, we do rely heavily on the students and the students coming here, and this is why we do specials to get you to come down, because there are competing pubs that are within walking distance to you guys. So we do what we can to get you to take the extra time to come downtown, give you good service, good prices, anything that we can to get you to come down and hopefully have a great time. And especially for new students, we want students that have been here 1 or 2 years to say, this is a place you got to go. This is a place you got to go when you come here. It's going to be a great spot. You're going to love it, and so it's really important to us, and we do really need the students to come.
So, do you think that, in regards to other businesses around here, do you think that the student population has a huge effect on them as well? Like, let's say, like local restaurants, local little businesses, like.
Absolutely, it goes from restaurants to grocery stores. I think one of the biggest companies that is affected by students, cab companies, and I do take a cab a fair amount, and they almost go to half staff.
So, how will you ensure that students will continue coming here for the future?
I'm glad you asked that question. Right now, we're pairing up with Molson to offer discounts for any sort of club sports teams at the university. Come down as a group, we'll give you a discount on your food and offering specials for you. And this is sort of to tie into, we are very much a community restaurant bar, and because we feel that the students are essential and vital to the Snooty Fox, we want to give back to you.
Lily, come over here. I want to show you
This is yours, Lily?
Absolutely, it is a different crowd in the summertime. When we lose the students, we do gain tourists. but we do have anybody that's sticking around to do summer session, the ESL. They come here as well. So you still have students coming here and students that stay and work that are from Fredericton. Student population isn't as prevalent, obviously, than from the school year. But though students that are still around, I still see quite a few of them. Wednesday nights are still busy.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
The student population has returned to Fredericton and is gearing up for another 8-month workload. But most students have more than just school on their mind. Outside commitments like jobs, clubs, and sports teams can leave students feeling stressed. For some, that extra responsibility is parenting. Shannon Mooney has one student's story.
By day, fourth-year liberal arts student Katie Faskell majors in psychology and English at St. Thomas University. But by night, she majors in motherhood. Faskell graduated high school in 2007. She began her university career the following September. After 2 years at St. Thomas, Faskell felt like she needed to figure things out. She opted not to return for her third year, and she and high school sweetheart, Mark Viel, moved to Fort McMurray, Alberta. The young couple learned they were pregnant soon after the move. When their daughter was 6 months old, the family decided to return to Fredericton, where Faskell decided to return to university.
The first thing I remember saying was, "Oh my God, it was so much easier before."
Faskell's morning routine has changed considerably. Instead of sleeping in, relaxing, and taking her leisurely time getting ready, she now has to get her daughter up, and fed, and clothed, and groomed, and pack her lunch, and finally, get her to daycare.
I want Chloe to look up to me and her to know what I did, for her, because I'm doing it for her, our family. I don't want to be working minimum wage the rest of my life, and I don't want her to do that. So if she sees me doing this, then hopefully she'll do the same.
As busy as she is, Faskell still finds time to study. She stays on campus to get her assignments done whenever she can, but most of her homework hours are logged at home after Chloe's asleep.
I put Chloe to bed at night. Sometimes we split it up, really. I'm a hard worker. I try to put a little income into the family. She's in school, so obviously it's tough right now, but we'll get through it.
Faskell encourages people in the same situation to not give up, because in the end, it's really worth it.
I would say, I wouldn't lie, I wouldn't say it was going to be easy, but I would say that it's going to be worth it, for sure. It wouldn't matter how stressful my day was. Like, I could be so stressed out, so angry. And then when she, gives me a big hug or, "Love you, big bunch, Mommy," then I'm like, oh, it doesn't even matter anymore.
For STU Journalism, I'm Shannon Mooney.
After nearly closing, animal lovers in St. John will be glad to know that the SPCA will remain open. The shelter, which was to be closed down if the organization did not make the $200,000 needed, experienced a stroke of fortune from another charity in need. The Joshua Group, a group of at-risk children from low-income families, purchased a surplus of land from the SPCA. With this purchase, the SPCA has raised the money they needed, and the Joshua Group now has a permanent place of residence.
The New Brunswick Sports Hall of Fame have hired a new curator. Melinda Jarrett took over the job on Monday from Kelly Ross, who held the position for almost 11 years. Executive Director Jamie Wolverton said Jarrett was hired because of her experience curating World War II exhibits.
Melinda had a good combination of educational background as well as professional experience in the sector and interviewed well, so she was offered the job.
Wolverton also says the hall is looking to become more interactive. However, the room for improvement is limited due to funding. The hall is open year-round, but is now under winter hours with the end of the tourist season.
After the break, a pirate festival of people, contests, costumes, and the presence of Jack Sparrow's boat. Stay with us.
Welcome back. The first Monday in September marks the summer's traditional end for most. At the watery border of maritime Canada and down East Maine, summer continues with the annual Pirate Festival, a joint Canadian-American effort to have a lot of fun. Andrea Silverthorne has more of the story.
Pirates and their boats were everywhere in the port of Eastport, Maine, the second weekend of September. Now in its 7th year, the festival takes place on American soil, but from its beginning, it has always been a joint creative effort of citizens on both sides of the border. Festival organizer Chris Brown.
It truly is an international event in a lot of ways. There's special races here with special prize money for Canadian boats, and you know, it's truly an international thing in that 98.1, the Tide radio station, has been with us since the beginning, like I said, and they're one of our gold sponsors again this year. So we continue to get a lot of publicity over there, and you know, it's been great. It's great to bring these two countries together in any way we can.
This year's Pirate Festival attendance was bolstered by the presence of the HMS Bounty, whose most recent movie role was the floating home of Jack Sparrow and his Pirates of the Caribbean. Bounty Captain Robert Walbridge.
This is actually the first pirate festival that the Bounty has ever really been to. Like I say, we do a lot of maritime festivals, but for a pirate festival, this is a first, and actually quite exciting seeing everybody dressed up as pirates.
Lobster Boat Race Coordinator Chick Moore explains that the Pirates of the Bay of Fundy used a mode of transportation different from their Caribbean counterparts.
Well, lobster boat racing has a history up and down the main coast, and it started from running rum and whiskey from the revenuers.
Adults attending the Pirate Festival had a great time. Even the U.S. Coast Guard competed in the event's bed races, but it was the younger attendees that stole the show. Organizers marketed the event as a chance for a great family weekend, and it was. Kevin Sodders from Halifax, Nova Scotia, where the Bounty was built in 1960. He and his motley crew tell us why it's great to be a pirate.
The best thing about being pirates is you're pirates. You do what you want, take what you can, give nothing back.
To journalism, this is Andrea Silverthorne.
A community celebrates the rescue of their local animal shelter. After a close call and a $250,000 trade with the Joshua Group, the St. John SPCA can keep its kennels open. Over 70 cats and 4 dogs would have faced relocation or euthanization if the St. John SPCA didn't receive $200,000 by the weekend. Fredericton pet owner Hannah Johnston shared her concerns on last week's possible threat.
This is one of the kittens that my parents found under their shed. The other 3 had gone to the Fredericton SPCA, but we adopted one, and I really think it's a shame that if the St. John SPCA closes, there's going to be a bunch of, these little guys running around without any good homes, and I think it's really important that kittens, especially young ones like this, should have a good home to be raised and just to be loved too.
Johnston says she's relieved with the announcement that the SPCA will remain open.
A popular Fredericton nightclub is taking advantage of the student population in the city. IROC has announced that Saturdays will now be student night with access to free cover with valid student ID. The nightclub previously reserved Saturday nights for 25 plus only.
Thank you for watching this week's edition of The Basement Files, and see you in a few weeks.